So naturally I asked you all what your favourite part of Resident Evil Village was, and I gave you all 5 options in a recent poll that I made. I gave you Moreau's Swamp, I gave you Heisenberg's Factory, I gave you Castle Dimitrescu, I gave you The Village, and I gave you Beneviento Dollhouse. Those were all the options for you to pick from. And you didn't pick the right one. So, I'm rendering the results of that poll null and void on the grounds that you're all horny and you've let that cloud your judgment of good game design. Don't get me wrong, Castle Dimitrescu is very good, but it doesn't hold a candle to the spectacular horror and psychological trauma that Beneviento Dollhouse has. So let's get into it. Now imagine this. You're Ethan Winters. You've just located a vial. In this vial is something you can't quite make out. And then this giant fat bloke is like, bro, that's your daughter right there. And you're like, real shit? So then the fat man reveals, yes, well, your daughter has been split into numerous pieces and scattered to the lords of this village. The plot for Resident Evil Village was fucking weird, wasn't it? Then basically he tells you all about the lords. Exposition R us. Let's go. Cutscene. Let's go. Then you need to go to a house, more aptly named Beneviento Dollhouse. This seems like a relatively simple smash and grab, get the parts, get the kid's legs, some shit, and then duck out. And then things start to get a bit unhinged. Oh, fuck right off. What is that? So you think to yourself, you know what? It's a Resident Evil game. Things are gonna be a bit weird. You know, it's pretty much the tagline for the series. Things are a little bit strange. So you don't think anything of it. And then things start getting more and more weird. Okay, do not like... Oh, no. What? No, she's dead. She's dead. Like, they plastered her with bullets. I mean, like, you should have seen it. Shit was intense. Just in case, load up the shotgun, load up the sniper rifle, and load up the M19. To a point where you arrive at the dollhouse and you enter, and you're pretty much freaked out by it already. Oh. It's, I was about to say it's not that bad. What the fuck is that? Okay. So you make your way through the house. You find an elevator. Why a house like this would have an elevator? I don't know. You know, pretty much everything about the vibe so far is just giving off major serial killer vibes. So again, you don't think much of it. Things are getting slightly unhinged. Let's do it. Don't know what I expected. Okay, wasn't expecting that.
Please, Ethan, listen to me. I didn't want to keep it from you.
Mia?
You're calling your dead wife. It happens, and then you're in a room. It's like a woodwork shop. You see this doll. This doll has got a piece of your kid. You grab a piece of your kid, the doll comes alive. And the doll's like, nah. The lights go out. Pitch black. And then, you come back. You don't have your weapons, items, or gear anymore. You've been completely stripped. From there, you need to solve an ever-increasingly bizarre puzzle sequence involving this doll on the table which you are certain is going to come alive really soon and try to murder you. You solve these puzzles. You open a door, and it leads you down this very narrow stone staircase. You walk down it, and it almost seems like it's not going to end. And then it does. And it brings you to a room with a old-style cot in it. And a well. You have to go in that well. Resident Evil logic dictates this. So you go in there, you grab the thing that's at the bottom, then you hear a horrific crashing noise come from above you. You get out, and the cot's all smashed to shit. Okay. What did that? Then you're walking back upstairs, and you start hearing very loud crying. Something's up there. Something's up there. Get the fuck out of here. Okay. Alright. This is, it's getting a bit too much now. You arrive back in the woodworking room. The mannequin's gone. Oh. Fuck right off. The body is gone. And there's nothing in there except a radio. I'm gonna let you have a listen to this because it's just, it's Silent Hill levels of... No.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
When I was listening to this for the first time, that's all I can describe it as. It was like crawling up my neck. So when I'm there, like, okay, right, I got no weapons, I got no healing items, let's just follow this trail of blood. I'm expecting like a mannequin to pop out of nowhere and just go and snap my neck. Nothing could have prepared me for what I saw and what you all saw in that level. Okay, we're fine. We're fine. Everything's fine. Oh my god! Now, in essence, it goes a bit like this. It kind of takes on the form of a very psychological horror hide and run type game, similar to Outlast and maybe even Silent Hill PT in some cases. The idea is that you get the elevator working and you go back up. Not before you have to locate all these parts that are now scattered around the map with this monstrosity chasing you. Now, before this level with Resident Evil Village, I never got to a point where I genuinely wanted to quit out because I was terrified. And even after this, I never hit that point again. But there is a moment in the gameplay where I am just there and I just say this. I don't think I can do this. At this point, I was genuinely ready to stop and completely quit out. Here's why I really like Beneviento Dollhouse. Up until this point, Resident Evil Village has been a very survival horror type game. You know, you've got your horror elements, you've got your combat elements. It's not that scary. However, when this moment occurs, it stops being a survival horror. It swaps genre midway through, and it becomes psychological horror instead. Because you realise that none of this is actually happening. Even the giant fetus baby monster, it ain't there. It's a manifestation of Ethan's mind. It's all in the head. And that's what makes it so scary. Because you as the player, you can't determine the difference between what is real and what isn't. And when you've got this chasing you, you don't care. You will run, hide, and basically do what the game tells you to do, because you have no choice. And that's what I liked. The game, up until this point, has allowed you to be very free in what you do. Naturally, that's what most Resident Evil games are like. They give you a freedom of choice. But with this particular mission, it's almost like a humbling experience where they rip everything you've built so far away. Your shotguns, your pistols, your sniper rifles, your health, your items, your bombs, everything. They rip it away and basically say, here's what you're going to do now. Run. That's what I really like, because it was so unexpected, and that's what made it far more scary. Because when you go into a psychological horror game, you know that you are going to be messed with in some form or another. But what if it's entirely unexpected that that's the turn it takes? Because I wasn't expecting this to happen. You probably weren't expecting it to happen when you played it. But I think that's just what made it all the more special, is the fact that it just goes, oh yeah, we're a Freudian nightmare now. Oh yeah, we're back to a regular survival horror. Here we go. And it's a moment you don't recover from, because you are terrified for the rest of the game that this is going to happen again, and you really don't want it to. I physically have chills up my back when I play this level. It is so borderline uncomfortable to play, and it's just so perfect. And that's why it's a standout moment. Because if you were to ask me immediately what my favourite Resident Evil Village moment was, it's seeing that baby come out of the darkness. That is something I will never forget. It was harrowing. It also makes me realise that there is genuine potential for this kind of gameplay in future. If you could develop a game, maybe even a spin-off, centred around this type of gameplay, it could be one of the scariest things I've ever played in my entire life. That's how I feel about Beneviento Dollhouse. I just really wanted to make this video because ever since it happened, I really wanted to do a retrospective on it. And I even had a scripted version on my computer ready to go, but here's the problem. I am so high on my own fumes in that thing, I can't take air into my lungs. Like, it's a lot there. I wrote a dissertation on this level, and I'd prefer that just stays in the drafts, basically, and prefer this style, because naturally I can fit more jokes in. And yeah, that's it. That's it indeed. Thank you all very much for watching. I shall see you in the next video. If there's demand for it, I might even do Castle Dimitrescu, like you all wanted. Maybe. Depends how this one goes. And that's it. Thank you all very much for watching. I shall see you in the next video. Bye now.